Hello and welcome to this overview of our program, Think Weight Loss Today. My name is Dr. Werner Marksfeld and I have been in practice since 1999. I started my career out as a chiropractor, but switched gears into what I would refer to now as functional healthcare, working with patients that struggled with a variety of different autoimmune conditions such as hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, type 2 diabetes, and many others. I wrote a book on the process that I serve my patients, and this is something that if you're interested in receiving as a free download, all you need to do is visit my website at www.wernermarksfeld.com. So you're welcome to go to that link and download that book for free, and you can read a little bit more about the 5 steps that I take with my patients who are struggling with these autoimmune conditions. That being said, today we're going to be talking primarily about weight loss and the issues around that. As always, we're required to display this disclaimer, which basically states that what you're about to hear regarding health is not guaranteed, and these results may vary from what you experience based on a number of factors. None of the claims have been approved by the FDA, and you should always do further research into any health protocols you embark upon. This is not a starvation diet or an insane exercise program, but rather it is an evidence-based system which has been documented thousands of times to show it helps people reach their healthy weight loss goals quickly and safely. Okay, so that we've got that out of the way. I'm sure many of you have seen this or have heard of the BMI, the body mass index. It's just a way that doctors or physicians use to categorize your risk factors. There are a lot of issues, of course, with BMI because somebody who lifts weight, let's say a bodybuilder, for example, weighs 250 pounds and has a lean body mass percentage of 6% or less. Obviously, they're not going to have the same risk factors as somebody who has the inverse, has more fat than muscle. So I think that the key factor here, and that's something that we distinguish in this program, is that we're not interested in weight loss, we're interested in fat loss. But that being said, as you probably know, there are major issues with obesity in the United States. In fact, some of the risk factors associated with being overweight are a shortened life, expected life, heart disease, blood pressure issues, and of course, cancer. Um, as you can see here, this is just some information that I took from the Mayo Clinic. But by carrying an additional 25 pounds of weight, you increase your risk for a multitude of conditions, including a heart attack. As you can see here, 360%. Blood pressure goes up to almost 260% risk of developing that. Gallstones is a major issue. Osteoarthritis or degenerative arthritis goes up close to 400%. And the big one here is type 2 diabetes, which, of course, at 2,700% would be one of the most concerning factors. So one of the things that the Mayo Clinic has put out is that if we can reduce our weight by only 5 to 10%, that decreases your chances of developing these diseases by as much as 50%. So this is something that I always allude to when I'm doing consultations with my clients, is that while I appreciate, the fact that you want to look better and feel better and all of that, but we have to keep in mind that being overweight has a lot of risks associated with it. And as you can see here, these are conditions that can lead to a shortened life expectancy. So let's talk a little bit again, weight loss versus fat loss. Our focus here is that we want to focus on burning fat, and there's 3 kinds of fats. There's structural fat, normal fat, and then the abnormal toxic fat that you see. And you can see this is a full body MRI of a person that's overweight versus somebody who's not overweight. The reason that we're seeing such a massive, not only epidemic, but pandemic with regard to obesity and being overweight has to do with the fact that we have become sugar burners when in fact our bodies have been designed to be fat burners. Now, what leads to all of that, I will explain here briefly, but one of the things that I want to sort of immediately differentiate between what it is that we do and what you probably see with a lot of the theories out there is that calories in versus calories burnt doesn't actually work for sustainable weight loss. The research actually shows that because when you are dieting and exercising, you can, of course, get the body into a state to burn more calories and you do lose weight, but what you're actually controlling are the size of your fat cells. So by losing fluid in the fat cells, you obviously are going to lose weight, but as soon as you discontinue these stringent diets and exercise regimens, what ends up happening is that you rebound and regain that weight. So what we want to do here is we want to put your body into a state where your metabolism is completely reset, and how we do that I'll explain to you here in just a minute. But it's important to understand this physiology on a cellular level. And this is, if you really understand what I'm about to share, then you'll really understand why it is that you've struggled with losing weight, and why, more importantly, you haven't been able to sustain any weight loss that you might have attained in the past. And one of the things that I teach my patients and clients is that cellular inflammation and hormone dysregulation or hormone insensitivity are the main reasons why people not only have trouble with weight loss, and that's why we refer to this as weight loss resistance, but also many, many conditions. In fact, all conditions and all disease is going to fall into this particular cause. So when we look at the human body and we look at a cell, and please forgive this very archaic diagram, it explains essentially how normal cells should work. So in a normal healthy person, or a normal healthy cell, as you can see in this diagram, we have this circle which represents the cell membrane. That cell membrane is made up of 2 layers of fat, and then you have these proteins that extend off the membrane, which are these hormone receptors, and these hormone receptors listen and hear to all the hormones that your body produces. Now, hormones are essentially the gasoline that causes the cell to work, or to drive, to function. So in a normal healthy cell, hormones like thyroid hormone, leptin, insulin, adiponectin, ghrelin, etc., they bind to these receptors and tell the cell to do certain things, primarily affecting a organ in the cell called the mitochondria, which are your energy factories, to produce an abundance of energy to keep the body working correctly. This is what keeps metabolism in sync. This is what keeps the body in a state where it can regenerate cells at a normal rate. And this is the reason why it's so important to maintain the integrity of the cell membrane. Now, what you're seeing here is a diagram of what happens when we introduce things into the body that don't belong there. So as you can see, I'm using some examples here. We've got bad fats, which would be the man-made fats, things like margarine, things like canola oil, vegetable oil. Those are going to be examples of bad fats. They don't molecularly fit with the cell membrane, and so they can actually cause oxidative stress or inflammation to the cell membrane. Sugars in all forms can do the same thing, including certain fruits, and toxins. Toxins are broken up into environmental toxins and biotoxins. Biotoxins are things like mold spores, or infection that's been in the body for a period of time, like an abscessed tooth, or it could be something like Lyme disease. So these foreign entities come into the body that don't belong in the body and drive this inflammation in the cell membrane. So if you look at this diagram, you can see I have some wiggly lines along the surface of that membrane. And as you can see, it's when you have inflammation in the cell membrane, you're essentially causing a blunting effect on those receptors. So a similar analogy to this would be you pull up to a gas station, you pour gasoline all over your car, and then you expect the car to go. Well, that's the same here. That's exactly what's happening inside your body. Many of my patients will tell me, but my blood work looks normal, but I don't feel normal. I feel sick. I feel fatigued. I can't lose weight. I'm losing hair. I have brittle nails. I have dry skin. And the reason is very simple. Despite the fact that your blood levels show normal on tests that your doctor might run, because these hormones can't actually bind to the cell receptors, the cell can't actually do what it's designed to do, which is, of course, to produce a ton of energy. And that's why you see this abbreviation of ATP, that's adenine triphosphate, that's cellular energy. So when the body can't communicate, or when the hormones can't communicate properly with the cell, it starts to affect the quality of these little energy factories called the mitochondria. And so instead of taking fat and converting it to energy, because there's now some damage that occurs to these mitochondria. The membrane itself can be damaged. The mitochondria can actually degenerate or become inefficient in what they're doing. Instead of burning fat for energy, the body then holds on to it and stores the fat, which is obviously not what we want to establish or create. This then indirectly creates insulin resistance and also leptin resistance, which is a hormone in the brain that tells you to stop eating. So a lot of my diabetic patients will tell me that despite the fact that they eat, they feel like they need to eat often and they need to eat frequently. And even after having eaten a fairly large meal, they continue to want to eat. So the whole program has been designed to do a couple of things, three main things. Number one, to reduce inflammation in the cell membranes so we can fix these cells. Number two, to allow for these cells to hear the hormones that balance metabolism and cell function. And number three, to restore health to your mitochondria, which is what's going to create sustainable results, and that's the key. Now, if you don't believe me that inflammation is the root cause for all of these issues, Time magazine, which I joke around at my seminars, is the gold standard of truth. They published an article back in 2003, and the title of Time magazine was the secret killer, inflammation. So keeping in mind, again, the entire process that we're trying to accomplish here is to do the reduction of inflammation, and number two, to make sure that these hormones that the body produces are being produced at the adequate levels without any outside influence, and number two, for those hormones to actually be heard. So we want to get into a situation where there is no resistance to these hormones. Okay, so I kind of explained that. What's really important to understand that this is a metabolic reset. So what differentiates us from every other program out there is that we are targeting fat cells. We're burning fat cells. 95% of the weight that you lose is fat that's being burnt, not the fat cell size being controlled. This is the difference. We do this without starving you or using any exogenous hormones like HCG, and it is a true metabolic reset in the hypothalamus, which is this control tower and this hormone control tower in your brain. Okay, so let's go over the program itself. It's doctor supervised. That means that you're not going to be handed off to somebody who went to a weekend class to learn how to help people lose weight, or somebody who's trying to build their multi-level marketing downline. This is supervised by a doctor who has experience, who does this day in and day out and only does this. The other component to this program is that you're eating real food. There is no replacements, meal replacements or shakes. Those are not sustainable. They are typically filled with a bunch of fillers. And to be honest with you, I don't believe that to be an effective model because it's not sustainable. Also, our program does not require you to count any calories or any points like with Weight Watchers, and definitely you will never be hungry on this program. Also, exercise is not required to be successful. Now, if you exercise, not a big deal. That's fantastic. You can't, we have some adjustments we make with the program if you're exercising, but a lot of the folks that I'm working with, they have at least 50 pounds or more to lose, and many times, it's just not feasible to be exercising. So it's important to understand that exercise is not required for you to have success. We do use some natural supplements, and these supplements do three different things. One is to help with dealing with cravings, and also to help with allowing the brain to become sensitive to hormones like leptin, which is that hormone that tells you to stop eating. We also use a supplement to get the body into a state where it burns this fat for energy. And then we use one more supplement that at the end of your program that we use so that it locks in this new reset metabolism. One thing I will say is that once we've completed a program with you, you are never going to need to take any additional supplements. So this is not some type of a residual program, so to speak. This is designed for you to lose this weight, and then once it's off, that you can maintain this with real food, and that's the key. Also, again, I emphasize this more than once, but we do not use exogenous hormones or medications or drugs. That's dangerous in my opinion. And if you're interested on that, I've done another video that you can see on YouTube. We also have I've created a private membership site. This is a really great tool for you because it allows you to really learn and understand and be empowered. We have great recipe ideas. Again, the whole point of this program is to make it easy and to make it sustainable. And that's the key. And that's why we have such a very, very small attrition rate with our patients. And also, we've just started a private Facebook group that has really been a great community of people coming in and sharing and getting positive support. So that's something you would have access to as well. Um, then, of course, unlimited email, text, or phone support from the doctor, from myself. This isn't something I pass on to staff. So when you have questions or comments or whatnot, you can reach me directly. I give you my personal cell phone number. So that I mean that in itself is unheard of in healthcare. So I'm here to support my patients and my clients. And I'll share with you some social proof where people will actually talk about that. And then finally, this program is extremely affordable. Very few people don't start this process because of finances, and we'll make it affordable for you. So all we're looking for are people who really want to lose weight, who really want to change their lives, and are committed to that process. Now, the protocol is broken up into 3 phases. There's a loading phase, that's 2 days, a reduction phase, that's 40 days, and then the maintenance phase, that's 21 days. As I said, there's no counting calories, but just so you have a sense of what typically a caloric intake looks like, it ranges between 1,200 to 1,500 calories. But again, we're not asking for you to count calories. The way that we outline the diet and how easy it is to implement, you're not going to have to think about that. Minimal exercise, as I mentioned earlier, so even just going for little walks every day is great, but not required. Talked about the supplements again. The key here is that they're all liquid and they're taken under the tongue, and they all work synergistically. These products are completely safe. They are hypoallergenic. They do not interfere with any medications that you might be on, and there are 0 side effects. And finally, the diet itself, as I said earlier, consists of real food, and that's really important. Okay, so what I'd like to do is kind of share with you some examples of people that we've helped. The first example I have here is Mike. He lost 28 pounds in 40 days. One of the things that we make claims to with our program is that our average patient loses anywhere between half a pound to a pound a day. So our expectation is that when you get on the scale every morning, that you have weight loss. And that's what's so great about this program, is that you get instant gratification. Instant gratification with results gives people more motivation and more enthusiasm about following through with the program, and that's why our attrition rate is extremely low. Our patients follow through and get the results they're looking for. Here's another example. You can see Heidi, she lost a total of 45 pounds in 63 days. And here you see Stan. Stan did 3 cycles, and you can see after he finished his program, he lost a total of 86 pounds. One thing I really want you to pay attention to is if you look at Stan, once he was completed, you can see he doesn't have a lot of sagging skin, and that's something that we see quite often with our patients and clients because of the way that this program is designed and built. This is a true fat burning program. This isn't just about massive weight loss with rebounds. Here's another example. You've got Dan. He lost 80 pounds in 6 months. And I put up here 59 years of age or 59 years old. Not that that's an old, not that he's old, but I get questions often about people's age and if that's a factor. As I get older, my metabolism slows down, and really, it's your age has nothing to do with it. The reason your metabolism, so to speak, is slowing down is because of what we discussed earlier in this presentation, and that is the level of inflammation that you have in the cell membranes and the lack of sensitivity to those hormones. So we remove the inflammation, and it doesn't matter what age you're at, you can lose that weight that you need to lose. Now here's another example. Here's Karen. She lost 155 pounds in a period of almost 6 months. And her husband, of course, he said, "Wow, I want to lose some weight," and he lost 40 pounds in 40 days. Another example, and again, I'm showing you as many as I can so you can see that, this isn't something that's just unique to one or two people. This is something that happens consistently. You can see Daniel here, he lost 160 pounds and continues to lose. He still has another 30 or 35 pounds that he wants to lose, but as you can see, some dramatic changes here. Nikki was one of my clients that had some struggles emotionally, emotional eating. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. And despite that, and despite those challenges, she was able to lose 60 pounds just in 9 weeks. One of the things that I really like to share with prospective clients is social proof, because I believe, I can show before and after pictures, I can even show videos, but one of the best ways to really prove to prospective folks that this is a program that works is to have what I call unsolicited um, testimonials or unsolicited stories. And if you look here, and you can find these also on our website, where Daniel talks about his experience. And again, the most important component here is not only losing the weight, but being able to maintain it. And I think that's the key here. Same with Alta. She struggled with losing weight most of her life, dealing with diabetes, and as you can see, just in her first week, she lost 12 pounds. And so there's plenty of these. I mean, we have, like I said to you before, our expectation is that you lose between half a pound to a pound per day.
Hi, my name is Daniel Bunton Foster, and I just wanted to share with you my experience working with Dr. Werner Marksfeld. We began our journey with him in the spring of 2015, and in July of 2016, we began the weight loss program. I've lost over 110 pounds. I'm now into my third cycle, about halfway through. I look forward to the next 40, 45 pounds coming off as it's been coming off consistently since July. It's great to be back to somebody that I remember, because it's been a long time since I've been able to get into clothes that been just collecting dust in the closet.
My name's Holly. For 40 days, I lost 43 pounds. It was the best thing I've ever done in my life. I am healthier, I have more energy, I'm able to play with my kids, run around, and everybody has noticed a difference in how I look, in my appearance. They say I don't look so tired, and it makes you feel better about yourself, and it's natural products that really retrain your body to process food the way it's supposed to. So it's the best thing I've ever done in my life, and I would recommend it to anybody.
Hello, my name's Brian Foster, and I wanted to say a few words about the Weight Loss Today program with Dr. Werner Marksfeld. I began this after many years of weight gain working at a sedentary job at a computer, and I had gotten to be type 2 diabetic. Over the course of 2 cycles of the program, I have lost 70 pounds, and the A1C that I have checked quarterly, just prior to the program, I was at 7.1, and now I'm down at 5.6, and my doctor is very pleased with that. This program has involved a lot of education and a lot of learning about proper nutrition, proper shopping, and how to find your way and take responsibility for good nutrition. It's been a great learning experience, and it has been very rapid results. Very pleased with it. Want to highly recommend Dr. Marksfeld. Thank you.
Okay, great. So now that you've seen and heard some of our patients' testimonials and client testimonials, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the program and how it saves you money. This is what you generally will spend with these different programs. So we went out and we looked at all these different programs. These are nationwide costs. I don't think people realize how much they spend on weight loss until you actually put it in front of them. But this is just to give you an idea of what it would cost to lose 30 pounds on these different programs. You can see the costs are anywhere between $3,000 on the low end and all the way up to $4,300. I've heard even larger numbers than that in the with other programs, especially with doctor supervised programs. So and what's important to remember with these programs is that this is not fat burning. These are weight loss programs, right? You're controlling the size of the fat cell. You're losing fluid. So it's not a true fat loss or fat burning program. And also, if you look at the time frames, our cycles are 9 weeks. These are generally speaking 20 to 30 week programs. So you can see, on the low end, people are spending $97 a pound lost all the way up to 150 pounds lost. So to give you an idea, generally speaking, our patients are going to pay a third of that. But again, it all depends on the individual and how much they have to lose. We guarantee you, though, that you'll spend less with this program than you ever have with any other program. And most importantly, you'll get results that are sustainable. So to set up your free consultation and invite you to give us a call, the number to call is 509-795-5994. Again, that's 509-795-5994. And that consultation will be done with me personally. As I said earlier, I work directly with my patients and my clients, so you do not have to be concerned about speaking with somebody who doesn't have any experience with this particular program. Okay, great. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and I look forward to helping as many of you and help you achieve the goals that you're looking to achieve. Have a great day.